Hi, I have to get something off my chest. My goal with these channels has always been to distill my experiences into anything that can help somebody else. I'm not the only person who's done this. You distill, you alchemize your own experiences, the lessons that you've learned in life, and publish them into these little snippets of energy and just send them out into the universe and hope the algorithm delivers them to the people that need to see them. That's always been the goal. And in searching, in seeking, pursuing that goal, I hoped to help myself with my own healing. And this would just turn into some kind of unfolding, ever blooming flower that would just kind of, keep things going. And I would be able to stay on my healing journey, and I would be able to share whatever I've learned with the world. And it's helped. It's helped quite a lot. One of the smaller reasons why I started this platform was struggling to be in front of a camera again. In an old life, I wanted to be an actor, and I used to really enjoy performing. But over these last years, that has I've gotten detached from that, and so it's been a struggle for me to come up with ways to get in front of the camera. And so I just kind of have this methodology of just holding the camera out in front of my face and just recording anything. And I still enjoy that to some degree. There's an authenticity to it that I believe delivers well. And being authentic on this platform has always been a very big goal. But it's difficult to distill every lesson and everything that's happened to you when you've got one of these platforms. It feels dishonest not telling your story as it is. And I've avoided it because it seems so typical and cheesy, and I've given myself all kinds of excuses as to why I've not just come out on this platform and talked about what happened to me. Maybe I wasn't ready before now, maybe I am ready now. But here it is. This is not going to be a normal message. This is me talking about what's happened to me in recent years and what I've been through. And it might get raw, it might get triggering, and I'm just going to put it out there. So I've recently been divorced. The ink dried earlier this year, and I am now grateful because I am no longer with my abuser. I have to come out and say that straight away. And that's one of the other reasons why I've avoided this, because I'm a 6'2" strong looking guy coming out and basically saying that I've been abused this entire time. It's emasculating to a certain degree, and I've just gotten to the point where I don't care, but I have to say it. Reactive abuse is something that I learned about after everything went down, when I finally got away from the abuse and my nervous system could finally calm down and become regulated. I have long discussed with my ex the fact that, and my family, that I thought that I had PTSD. And they were apparently the wrong people to admit this to, because looking back, their actions basically speak towards they didn't care about helping me to heal. They did all of the things that you shouldn't do around a person who has PTSD. My nervous system was absolutely shot. I was going through a mental health crisis, and all of the people that I needed to help me in my life abandoned me and left me in silence. They weaponized silence. They turned their back on me completely. And while I was going through, in hindsight, it was really clear what was going on before the divorce was actually, before the papers were drawn. There was a long period of time where I was really struggling. And while I was struggling, I was getting zero support from my family, from anybody in my life that I was supposed to rely upon. I was left completely alone, abandoned, discarded like trash. And now I find myself, after all of this betrayal, having to come to grips with the fact that I may never speak to my daughter again. During the divorce proceedings, see, this system is not designed for, it does not help a person in my position. The divorce system, this entire system, you can't prove reactive abuse without an ungodly amount of evidence. And if you ever look up reactive abuse, it was like living with a constant stream of rage baiting for years until I started blowing up. That PTSD started kicking in and I started losing control. But they were not doing anything to help me bring it down. And whenever I would blow up, they would start recording me. I didn't know that this was going on until, in hindsight, I didn't know that they were recording me while I was blowing up. And even during the divorce, they played the tapes of my abuse, of me blowing up, talking about my suicidal ideation, while barely listening to the tone in my ex's voice as she spoke to me with poison, vile disdain. I just needed love and I needed help, and she completely abandoned me. And another aspect of all of this was, during the divorce, I was trying to raise the fact that our autistic child was being brainwashed by my ex, and that this had been going on for years. It was one of the reasons why I started blowing up, is because my daughter was refusing to speak to me. And that was a very slow burn. That started at the beginning of high school, and it just got worse and worse. And there was clearly an entire relationship in that entire family dynamic which I was not privy to. I was the sole breadwinner. I was the one bearing all of the stress in the relationship, while they spent all of my money, our money. We were a family, we were a unit, but I never bought anything for myself. They spent every extra dime we had. And so that was another piece of stress and manipulation that went on in the relationship. But I digress. I tried to raise the fact that my daughter was brainwashed throughout the entire marriage, and there was nothing to be done about it. I have not had a meaningful conversation with my daughter in probably 4 years, and the divorce is not even a year gone right now. And now I might have to go through the rest of my life without speaking to her again, or speaking to anybody, because ever since all of this has gone down, I have not had a single drop of support from anybody in my family. I mean, there's a lot that is buried in that silence. And luckily now I'm away from it all. I am doing much better than I ever have, and I've learned to listen to that silence. And I hear everything that they're trying to say. So you have a decision to make after going through all of this. Do you hang on to the past, or do you figure out how to move forward? And that's what this video is really about. It's about me letting go of all of it. Letting go of their betrayal. I don't want to feel anything about that situation anymore. And as time goes on, it gets easier and easier. And this is, some people call it a cord cutting ritual. This is me putting it on the table so I can stick this out in the universe and be done with it and be done with them. Because they have left far too many things unsaid. Things like, what did my father and grandpa talk about after my baptism? I wonder about that a lot. That conversation did not look like a happy conversation. Grandpa looked really concerned. There's been a lot of things unsaid in my family, let alone in my marriage, and all the sneaking around and all the withholding of information, weaponizing silence. They knew that I had PTSD. It came out during the divorce proceedings. I officially have a PTSD diagnosis. And that was freeing for me. And it turns out that I was doing all the right things. I'm in contact with a bunch of old veterans, and everything that I'm discussing with them, I am an exemplary model of how I can deal with my own PTSD. But now I just have a heap of betrayal that got stuck up on top of it. That didn't help. But I'm getting through it. I am so much better now that I've gotten away from all of that abuse. And now I'm just repeating myself. I don't expect any of them to see this. They've given zero indications that they have seen any of my content. I have not seen a single comment from any of them. And I've been on these platforms for a couple of years now. Zero support. I've done nothing to them to deserve this. Nothing. All I ever wanted was a brother. I used to get jealous of watching brotherly relationships in movies. I don't get jealous anymore. I think good for them, but that's not for me. That's not what was written for me. My sister, I have no idea why she hates me. I'm sure she doesn't even realize. She can't even tell you why she hates me, but she clearly does. She tries to mask it. She tries to hide it. But it's been going on since we were children, and I don't understand it. For the past 20 years, all I have been to her was kind. And I've tried to reach out, but I was always left on red. There was always an excuse as to why she couldn't come out of the house, and she would send her husband out to speak to me under some pretense that she was busy. But she clearly never had time for me. I don't know what I have done to them to deserve this level of hate. And as for my parents, the day I was kicked out of my house, my mother was there. I saw it with my own eyes. She conspired with my ex to have me ejected from my own home. And I have never once heard anybody in my family acknowledge this. She was there. I saw it on the cameras as I was being taken to the VA so I could find a place to stay because I was now homeless. Because my mother and my ex conspired to kick me out of my own home. And I have had zero acknowledgement from anybody in my family since then. So yeah, I don't want anything to do with them anymore. Their silence has spoken volumes. And there are a lot of questions you can ask about this entire situation, and I just don't care anymore. I don't care. I'm putting this out here. I'm repeating myself, but I'm putting this out here so I can be done with this. Much longer than my typical videos. What's more is that the silence that has followed since I got kicked out of my house isn't just my family, isn't just my ex, isn't just my daughter. There are so many people that chose to turn their back on me. And that silence was felt keenly too. Betrayal, all the same. But I don't know what I've done to anybody to deserve the lack of loyalty that I thought that I had in some friendships. Everybody in my life turned their back on me, and I had no one but myself. And I found a way out. I found a way to become stable again by the grace of the Most High. Thank you, Father. Life is funny that way. I've always been a faithful person. I was raised an atheist. And whenever I would talk about spiritual things, whenever I would try and go towards spiritual teachings, I just got nothing but Dennis Rodman style nope from everybody in my family. Everybody. They would just talk crap about anything that I would do that was spiritual. It was weird looking back on it. Like, why can't you just let me do what I want to do? I'm not hurting you. And the mockery, while smiling in your face, the mockery never stopped. Every boundary that I tried to set with them, whenever I tried to tell them to stop, ignored completely. There's been so much peace since I've been alone. It was difficult at first, but now I crave it. It's now gone in the other direction where before I think I needed to be alone. But now I've gotten like really comfortable being by myself. And so I get out more and I'm working on that. I still have people that care about me. Very few. If they're watching this, I love you. I actually love all of you. Just in case my family does watch this, I still love you, but I don't want anything to do with you. Not after the way that you've treated me. I would be a fool to even consider it. I repeat again, I've done nothing to deserve what you have done to me, what they have done to me. So I don't think there's much more to be said. If I can't have justice, I will have peace. And that is a gift that I've already received. I just need to learn how to detach and let it go. So with that, I cut these cords. May they be severed now and for all time. I recall my energy. I take it all back. I am divine. I am deserving of love and life. I am aimless, and I love thee.